I'm on a different platform. I'm not really sure how to use this yet. So I'm going to test it out. I wasn't even able to set the the title or anything yet, but there's a lot of stuff you have to know. This is Bernie behind me. I guess he's waking up from a little nap. Um, he's a Bernese mountain dog, and he's something else. I guess he doesn't want to be on camera, so he got up and walked away. But anyway, so I'm not quite sure if this is working. I'm not even sure if I'm actually live right now. I'm supposedly live. Oh, okay. I guess I am. I should be live on Facebook, YouTube, X, and even Instagram if that's working. I don't know if that's working. So there's some really important stuff that I'm going to be showing you guys today, because it's absolutely mind-boggling, and you have to know this. I mean, you just have to know this, because I think that it at the very least it should play into a lot of what's going on in terms of the Clarity Act and blockchain, because the numbers are astronomical, and the counter to a lot of these astronomical numbers is ultimately Cardano. And so there are a lot of questions that this is going to present as I go through this. What I did was I put together kind of a master list of the biggest hacks in crypto in 2025 and in 2026. And then I compared that to the hacks of Cardano, okay, since inception. Well, I'll cut to the end. There have been none of these. There have been 0 hacks on Cardano. There was one attempt, and it ended up costing the hacker $4,000 for trying. So I get so frustrated with the narratives of all of those who are constantly lying and trying to spread FUD. I watched the video last night of some guys got like 500 followers. Obviously somebody like rubbed him the wrong way. I don't know if Charles yelled at him. I don't know. Something happened like years ago. And the guys tried to make a career out of just fudding Cardano ever since. I'm like, dude, you might want to just get a girlfriend, or like, I don't know what you need to do. But the guy, I was watching this guy and like the claims and things he was making, he was trying real hard to make a case full of bullshit. And I'm like, all right, man, I get that, but here's some real numbers. Here's some real stuff. I'm going to go ahead and share this. I am trying a totally new platform, so we'll see how this looks. But this is major hacks, okay? This is major crypto hacks in 2025 and 2026. These are things you got to know. I started this, and just so you know how I came up with this. I started it in Grok, because Grok can pull all the latest of everything, like right now. And then I threw it into Claude, and I said, hey, fact check this. And if there's anything missing, add to it, and then give me some fun graphs and charts and things to kind of spell this out. And then I said, I want to compare all of the stuff that happened on the chains I'm going to go over with Cardano. I said, I want to know how these chains compare to Cardano's security, right? Because here's the truth. The truth is that we haven't even really begun using crypto yet. I got news for you. I know we're all pioneers, those of us that have been in the space since 2017. I know that we are all quote unquote pioneers, but honestly, it's been degenerates. Okay, let me put this in a perspective. What industry typically adopts the latest technology of any kind? Okay, what industry typically has the money and the creative interest to try and capitalize on the latest technology anytime it comes out? It's the adult industry. It's the degens. It's the degenerates. Not that all porn and everything is bad and all that. It can help with whatever. It can also, like anything else, can be used or abused, right? It can be fun or it can be toxic. It all depends on the user. But the truth is that they have so much capital, and they're generally the first adopters. Virtual reality, you name it, man, gaming, whatever. So when we look at where we are now, like right now, it's a little different because there's a transition happening. But since inception, crypto has been used by hackers, cyberpunks, degenerates, gamblers, scammers. I mean, it truly has been the Wild West. And it's where anybody with a little bit more of a brain kind of would flock to try and make a quick buck, whether it's off of the back of somebody else, hacking somebody, rug pulls. I mean, you name it. And there really hasn't been anything clarifying what's okay and what's not. I mean, there's obviously your moral compass, which, we've seen that basically be shit more often than not in the blockchain space. But ultimately, we haven't really done anything yet in crypto. Everything has been this kind of self-inclusive, whether it's DeFi applications or whatever. Nothing really matters. Everything we've been doing up to this point has been trial and error, exploration, what's possible, how can the technology be used, how can we increase throughput, transactions per second, use, how do we establish what metrics are important and which aren't to try and gauge the value and the overall financial interest in this chain or another. But it's all one big grift. It's all of crypto to me has been one big fucking grift. I don't care how you look at it. It's all been just a bunch of degenerates trying to figure out how to capitalize on this idea, that idea, or this person's lack of knowledge or this person's ignorance. Like it's just been, that's what it's been for the most part. But then we have what I would call more purist driven chains that have been spawned specifically because they've seen what's happened. They've seen where the industry's going. They see the future and they understand it. And in order to build a chain specifically to cater to future tech, future narratives, future use cases, the way blockchain's supposed to be used, not just NFTs, meme coins, rug pulls, casinos, and just all the degeneracy in crypto, which is fun for a lot of the young people, right? It's fun until it's not, right? Now, there's a reason I'm going over this. So a fact-checked accounting of every theft, $20 million across centralized exchanges, DeFi protocols, and cross-chain bridges, or basically anything over 20 million, sorry. And the one ecosystem conspicuously absent from this ledger. And this is all, you can fact check this, okay? This isn't me just coming out with some bullshit narrative for folks. This is legitimate. The largest single heist, which was Bybit in February 21 of 2025 by the Lazarus Group. I'm pretty sure the Lazarus Group, unless I'm mistaken, are they North Korean or South Korean hacker groups? I'm not 100% sure. But they cleared out $1.46 billion. $1.46 billion. There are 13 incidents in 2025. These are major incidents, not every little thing. $2.38 billion stolen from different things with no security, basically, or limited security. In 2026, year to date, so far, $658 million have been hacked or, basically hacked, ultimately. Hacks on Cardano, zero. There are reasons I'm pointing this out, but let's get deeper into it. So the damage ranked, every confirmed incident above $20 million threshold sorted by USD lost. Bybit's February 2025 cold wallet drain alone accounts for nearly half of all stolen value across the 18-month window. Stuff like that. I mean, Lazarus Group, I know they're like notorious, they're geniuses, they're all this stuff. But when it comes to exchanges like this, especially with that much volume, it's difficult for me to assume it's anything but some form of inside job. Just like a lot of like the AT&T hacks and things like that, a lot of that was basically some form of inside job. So because they would have employees that were working and they would basically, give access or sell access. Hey man, for $100, I'll give you this person's phone number or whatever. So, and then it goes down the list here. Now, Coinbase is mid. I never knew that Coinbase actually got hacked. I didn't know that happened, but apparently there was a $45 million hack in May of 2025, which is interesting to me. Swiss Borg, I've never heard of. Upbit, Solana hot wallet was hacked for $35 million apparently in November 2025. Step Finance for 30 million, big one. I've never heard of that. Probably some degenerate platform. I don't know. 27 million. TrueBit for 26 million. Resolve Labs 25 million. I mean, it's just crazy. This is crazy. BitGet Voxel for $100 million. Balancer, which I'm not sure. We're going to find out what chains these are all happened on, but that was 128 million. So basically a lot of money that's been extracted illegally. Where the value bled out, this is a distribution of stolen value by underlying chain or primary impact venue. Multi-chain centralized exchange hacks, Femex, Novitex, BTC Turk, I've never heard of these two, are bucketed separately since the loss spans many networks via laundering paths. I mean, Jesus. Alrighty then. Let's I think I need to, I'm not sure what I need to do to make sure this all fits for everybody. There we go. That's a little better. All right, distribution of value. Ethereum, $204.3 million just in these hacks that have happened. Okay. So it's basically Ethereum and their layer twos, which we all know layer twos generally suck. I mean, layer twos typically on a lot of these insecure blockchains are even more insecure than the layer one they're built on, because they do a lot of things because they want things to be faster, quicker, and all that. So number two on this list, I'm pretty sure this is number two. Yeah, so this is number two, Solana. Okay, $434 million worth of assets, money have been basically hacked or extracted from the Solana blockchain. Why the narrative for this blockchain continues pushing harder than ever? Well, I mean, that's probably why. You got to cover up a lot of shit. I mean, this is, I almost look at, and this is my own personal opinion. If you like Solana, then that's fine. But I feel like the narratives that are constantly being pumped out to propel Solana with whatever gimmick or whatever claim or whatever it is, I look at it like somebody trying to smuggle something across the border, where they try and hide everything anywhere they can. Then they have to cover up the smell, and they have to do all of these things to basically try and make it something that it's not. And in this case, like, this blockchain to me is just a cesspool of shit, and I just don't understand. Well, I do understand. A lot of people are being paid to basically project a lot of narratives on people that don't know any better. But it is what it is. Multi-chain. It's crazy how multi-chain centralized exchange hacks just about equal or even less than one blockchain, Solana. Absolutely amazing. In Ethereum, you have to understand, Ethereum was first to market with smart contracts. They've been trying to fix and patch as much as they can. But here's the thing. There is the one thing that I'm going to be very honest about here is when you compare things like TVL and where money is flowing for a lot of the degenerate bullshit that people are doing on chain, Cardano doesn't get a lot of that. So Cardano is also not as big a target, admittedly, as like Ethereum, obviously. I mean, Ethereum has more money on chain than any other chain out there. So of course it's going to be the biggest target. And then when companies are throwing out all these layer twos, these EVM side chains, all this crappy stuff to try and solve these little problems associated with Ethereum to try and make things faster and easier to use, etc. They just create new ships with more holes. And so that's a big problem. So Ethereum is number one, Solana number two, centralized exchanges three, and then SWI, which I also find very interesting, given there's a lot of, unless I'm mistaken, correct me in the comments, I might be the idiot, but isn't there a lot of crossover between the SWI team and Solana? And I don't know if the crossover is just like the venture capital groups that are backing it, but I assume that with that, which I'm pretty sure is the case, with that, you also get a lot of their contacts, connections, development teams, etc. So they're just really good at building these just these degenerate chains that are prone to just being hacked and just torn apart. In my humble opinion, I mean, I don't know, you can think differently, but the numbers are right here. Polygon, which I don't really hear much about Polygon hacks, but that's, I mean, $100 million in hacks. So in just this one distribution by incident count, you got multi-chain CEX, 6 incidents, Ethereum 6 incidents, Solana 4 incidents, Sui 1 incident, Polygon 1 incident, Cardano none. These are pretty substantial. 18 months traced. So Ethereum, I mean, what else do you need to say to get people to understand what's happening here? And yet these are the chains that everybody is supposed to trust with their capital for DeFi, for any of these applications. These are the chains, the ones that are constantly getting hacked and extracted. And yet Cardano's bad because it took a while. Well, you know what? This is why it took a while. And this is why a lot of the protocols on Cardano have taken a while, because it's a lot smarter when you're planning for future tech and future use case that we're now going to be in high demand of. When you're looking at Cardano as being one of the closest to being quantum proof out there, a lot of these other chains, no way in hell. Quantum proofing is going to become one of the biggest narratives over this bull market. I can tell you that now. And the smart chains are already working on it. And the smartest of chains already have started before it even became a real narrative. Cardano's had quantum proofing in mind since like day one. I remember it being a topic of discussion by Charles. So that's a big deal. And when we look at this transition from TradFi into where we're heading now, this is going to be, I mean, even Larry Fink, I just saw Larry Fink basically say, people don't realize how fast this transition is going to happen. Like, this isn't going to, a lot of people like 2030, 2035. No, this is happening fucking now, man. The New York Stock Exchange just announced that it's turning on 24/7 trading for real world assets and everything else. This is happening now. The transition onto blockchain is happening now. And the question is, who are the decision makers that decide which chains are utilized for these use cases, and how much money is being spent or going to be spent by some of these chains to kind of grease those wheels in their direction, regardless of security, regardless of risk? How big is security going to play into this transition? If you were a group, a company, an institution, anybody, and you looked at just these numbers alone, which these are pretty basic, if you were to look at these numbers alone and you thought to yourself, do you think any of them are looking at who built what the fastest? Who built fast to break and broke things along the way? And like, what do you think is going to be their big interest? Security, throughput, transactions per second is going to play a role, but it's not the biggest end all be all when you talk about institutional throughput and finance. Okay. It matters, but it doesn't matter as much as I think a lot of people think it does. But security is going to be one of the biggest things. If there are going to be 20 to 40 trillion dollars moving over to the blockchain space, being tokenized as real world assets or whatever, do you not think that something that was built methodically and academically for security, throughput, and interoperability, do you not think that that's going to be one of the biggest plays? I do. I can't see these institutions basically building all of these rails for all of their institutional use cases on chains that are prone to hacks, have a million issues, Do we really think that institutions are going to take Solana out of the red light district and put a big label of approval after all of the degeneracy, hacks, and bullshit that happened on that chain? Do we really think that that's what's going to happen because some YouTuber said it is? The same is true for me. If I'm honest, it's like we can assume that even though Cardano is the best tech and the most secure, I would love to think that these people with any sense whatsoever are going to look at Cardano and say, hey, $20 trillion is much safer on this chain than any of these other degenerate chains out there. One of them's first to market. Wonderful. They built a big part of the industry we know today, but it's old tech and they can't fix their shit. So we can't really use them the way we want to. We'll continue using them for what it's being used for. But as far as this big transition, I can't see anyone making any sense of that. Solana, get the fuck out of here. You're talking $20 trillion market, and you think Solana is going to be able to pay the right people like this $1 billion, that $1 billion to be able to push them in that direction and then risk everything from their jobs, their careers to their companies? I don't think so. I don't buy it. I don't really see it because this is much bigger than that. This isn't like a sports team that's being paid 50 mil. And I'm not saying that this is what happened. I don't know. Right. But this is beyond like sports teams or small use cases being paid to like trial run this chain so that we can put it all over the place and say, look who's using us. Like that's all just bullshit marketing. Right. And that's temporary. It's not anybody coming to the table saying we need to build the rails for this multi-billion-dollar institution and we're going to build it on this chain. Now, some of that has happened. I'm pretty sure if I understand it correctly, I think PayPal did do something like this with Solana and another chain. So I want to be fair, man. I do want to be fair. I'm not trying to just unnecessarily shit all over everything just because I'm a hater. I'm not a hater. It's just over the years, I've seen so much degenerate bullshit and I'm just so tired of it being forced down our throats. While real supreme technology that's been built slow so that it didn't have to break things and it didn't have to like go back and work backwards, fixing everything just because it was trying to be the first to do this and that and another thing. I'm just so tired of it. So ultimately, yeah, this is where we're at. I mean, it's insane. Here's the total list. Here's the full list of a lot of the major hacks over $20 million that took place over 2025. And there's a lot of them, man. There's a lot of them. And then this is 2026 so far. So, I mean, this is all Ethereum and Solana in 2026 so far. So, yeah. And I'm pretty sure this is the one hack. Nothing was stolen. Malformed transaction. This is the hack that Phil, the guy, I'm going to have him on. It's one of the reasons why I set this new platform up. I think it'll be better for interviews and things, but I definitely want to have Phil on soon. There are a lot of people in the Cardano ecosystem I want to start bringing on, not just Charles. I want to start really understanding and learning more. I'd love to have like Adam with Intersect on. I want to basically have everyone I've met in person at Consensus. I want to have them on because I found them to be incredibly intelligent, very, very interesting people, and very much about trying to be a part of something that's ultimately scheduled to change the world. That's why all these people are involved. Nobody's getting stupid rich working on blockchain the way that a lot of these guys are doing it. I mean, they're trying to build careers, but they're trying to build careers the right way. Because any of them could go to any of these other chains that have much more venture capital money that they're throwing around. I mean, it's like, and I liked a lot of these guys that I met. Brandon, he told me he likes to stay a little more behind the scenes, but he's basically like, he's like a hipster, but he's around my age, a little younger than me. A musician, a smart guy. He manages a lot of stuff. He's been around a little while behind the scenes. And I think he needs to start his own YouTube channel. I mean, I'm like trying to push him. I'm like, dude, you need to do your own YouTube channel because we'll see. If he does, I would love to have him on and kind of introduce you guys to him. I think you'll like him a lot, actually. So yeah, overall, it's just the number of hacks and the amount of money that's been extracted from these chains that have so much money that's being pumped into these counter narratives of oh, well, we're going to brush this under the rug again and again and again and again. And a part of how we do that is by shitting on Cardano, because they're the biggest threat to all of these ecosystems. Cardano and its huge community, even in this bear market where people are crashing out here and there because they're mad, they're frustrated. We all are. We're all frustrated. But ultimately, I do think that the time is limited. I've been trading on weeks lately, and I've got some stuff coming for weeks. I'm working on building some things on weeks. I'm building some trading bots, an AI trading assistant. And I've been on BitUnix for a long time, but I switched to weeks. I met one of their reps at Consensus, and we started talking. And yeah, I basically moved my capital from BitUnix over to weeks, and they're going to help me do a lot of stuff. They're really going to be working with me on catering to you guys. So if you do end up trading, which I've been trading, I'm trying to trade light. I'm trying to be a little more responsible. I'm in like 5x trades, 3 to 5x max. Generally, I was trading 10x, and I'm like, okay, I'd win big, lose big, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. So anyway, but we're currently trading in this channel right now. I do expect a break to the downside at some point. Maybe after we come back up here to the 25-cent range, then we might get a breakdown. We'll see. I'm not 100% sure what direction we're going, because if I'm looking at liquidity, there's so much liquidity sitting up here, all the way up here to like 78.6. And if we zoom out even more, those CME futures gaps up around $84,000. There's nothing to feed that run. So there's a good chance we could clean this out here in the more immediate future and then start working our way back down. That $84,000 CME futures gap may very well likely just fill, later on in the year. It doesn't have to happen right now, because I think the real money right now is drifting around this area. It's all of the degens, leverage trading, including myself, as the market makers, the institutions, and the liquidity providers are basically, they're chasing this liquidity all over the place. We're the liquidity providers because they're chasing our stop losses and our liquidation points. So, just know that going in. I mean, look at this. This formed up right after, man. And everybody, and the price starts moving, and then boom, these are all stop losses just waiting to be plucked. So yeah, that's what's happening there. This Wyckoff accumulation pattern. Now this is a daily candle. Wyckoff is generally plays out more accurately on the weekly charts, which we are in an accumulation pattern on a weekly. I think we're running a schematic 2 right now in the Wyckoff, and I'm like, I've been playing with this, and even on a weekly chart, the Wyckoff says we're due to come back down. And I do think that there's a good chance that we could touch on 60,000 before we start moving back up. Maybe we even wick below it just to freak everyone out. But I just don't see that 40,000 range, even though the Fibonacci and all this stuff is pointing to 40 grand. I know Ben Cowan he's like, we're going to hit 40,000 by October. Man, he could end up becoming a prophet. I have no idea. I just find it very interesting given where we're at in this market cycle, which I'm going to do another video at some point in the near future. And I'm going to map some of this stuff out a little better. And I really do need to plan some of these live streams a little better, because my mind just goes haywire, especially if I'm excited about an idea. I'm all over the place. I know it. I read the comments, and there's always at least a couple people like, dude, will you chill the fuck out? So I get it. But we're about 30 minutes in and live streaming across multiple platforms. Nobody knows what this video is about because apparently I can't set the title. So I'm going to have to play with this a little bit more so people know what I'm getting into. And that generally generates more viewers and things. But let me know in the comments, what do you think of this setup? Is it better? Is it worse? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What's this scene? What does this do? Oh, that just makes me full screen. That's right. I can't really see the comments directly in chat without opening another thing. And I'm going to bring on my other monitor, and I'm going to have this all set up much better. It's going to keep getting better and better. But I'm running 4K, I think. I don't ever run 4K. So now you can see if I've got boogers in my nose if you want, I think. I don't know. It looks pretty clear. You can see my my dog who just got shaved a little bit. It's hot in Florida. So that's it. I mean, thanks for joining me, guys. I'm gonna get back to work and see what I can do about changing this setup. I want to add my intro. I've got music added on here, but let me see. Can I play some music as an outro? I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. I have no idea what's going on. So, until next time, guys, thanks for joining me. Grow your coins, and I'll see you again soon.